Let me begin with this.
Today on Eric Scott Talks a Lot, it's all about my crazy rock stories. First episode, we need a name for it. Give us one. Eric Scott Talks a Lot right here. Random and Reckless Entertainment gives us this space. Brainstar Media. Use your brain, be a brainstar. It's our newest segment. Eric Scott Rocks a Lot.
Did you do that all by yourself?
Eric Scott rocks a lot.
Why are you echoing in the microphone?
Eric Scott rocks a lot.
Rocks a lot.
Rocks a lot.
Rocks a lot.
We're just gonna call it rocks a lot.
Rocks. I like. The viewers are now part of this naming. You know, we should ask the viewers.
Okay, viewers.
Name this segment.
Name the segment.
We're gonna leave it open. We'll
leave it open.
And name the segment.
Name the segment. And what the segment is gonna be, like the Bounty Hunter stories, this is rock and roll stories, because I have been rocking my whole fucking life. Tons of shows, tons of shit, and great experiences. And somebody said in my feed the other day, I want to hear rock stories along with those frickin' Depression Donut Bounty Hunter stories. But we had already planned that. Great minds think alike. You ready for the fucking inaugural one?
Yeah, so we want people to comment on this after the fact, or watch. You could do it during the fact if you'd like. It doesn't, whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to help decide the name, and you're going to have to be really quick at it, because I got to have a name.
We need a name.
Got to have a name.
Okay.
Comments, DMs.
Give us a name
pigeon,
for this segment.
Carrier pigeon, smoke signals, whatever, however you get the information.
And the subject matter is rock and roll stories from me.
Yeah, from Eric. I mean, as cool as that could be, but
hey, everything's about me.
Yeah, we know.
I know. You ready for
Yes.
more about me?
Yeah, but
you getting tired of me yet?
No
way!
What I want to know,
okay,
first of all,
okay,
is why you think that we should hear your rock stories.
Because my rock stories are fucking real rock stories. And, you know, I may not be Michael Jackson, but it doesn't matter if you sell one record or 5 million billion. It doesn't change the intention of the artist. It doesn't, or how it hits the ear. See, I have lived an incredible rock star life. And people say, have you? Absolutely, more so than most.
It's got 10 mansions to prove it.
Yeah. Not a single fucking mansion.
Not one single fucking mansion.
Single mansion.
That's rock and roll.
But am I more of a rock star than the guy who had a one-hit wonder and was around for a year and a half in Dishwalla?
Where's Dishwalla?
I know, right? Not to mention, they might be doing it for hardcore. I don't know. But I'm just saying, I've been plugging away for years and years, played tons and tons of shows, written tons and tons of records. All of them sucked, except for the ones that were totally amazing.
All right, tell me a cool rock story then.
I'll tell you how it all fucking started.
Tell me a cool rock story.
I'll tell you how it all started.
In a segment that we have yet to name. Yeah, we have yet to name.
Eric Stott is about to rock a lot.
Eric Stott.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
And go.
All right, here we go. Let me tickle the insides of my.
You look exceptionally good today.
Oh, thanks, dude. I got a little pinky going on here. Pink, what you think? You know what I mean? A little bit make you want to drink.
You're like a Tom Cruise stunt double for fucking.
Dun.
Highway
Just
to
take that
the
old
danger
records
zone.
off the shelf. Okay, we're not even gonna get to the fucking story.
That's okay.
How much time have I eaten up?
Like 4 minutes.
Okay, 4 minutes. Okay, here we go. Rock story number one that made me want to be a rock and roll man. Okay, the reason why I wanted to be a front man. Okay, let's start it out really fucking negative and really controversial. Okay, here we go. My dad gets busted big time. I mean, goes to jail for really bad crimes. And I have to be taken and go to live with my grandma. You want to know why? I got to live with because my grandma drives by, comes up to take care of my mom. My dad goes to jail. My mom's in a bunch of trouble too. No, she's not in trouble, but she's having to deal with it all. And my grandma drives by, because she'd come to Vancouver, Washington to help us out. My grandma drives by and she sees me wearing a motorcycle helmet, standing waiting for the bus. She asks the kid, why is he wearing that motorcycle helmet? And the kid says, well, because he gets beat up all the time because his dad's all over the news and shit.
God.
Right? So I didn't even really remember this. But anyway, so she puts me in the car. But along with that, so that's about the time I got sent up here. But we were coming back here anyways. But we end up in Olympia, and I end up living with my grandma. And I remember the first like month, my grandma kind of just let me do whatever I wanted to do because she kind of felt bad for me and stuff. We were cooking a bunch and having a bunch of good time, but always in the background, my grandma was a rock star. Always in the background was Van Halen. Okay. And the reason Van Halen, why my older grandmother was into Van Halen is, I'll touch the microphone.
No, you won't.
Is because my uncle was obsessed with Eddie Van Halen. My uncle, shout out to Hal Anderson, is one of the best guitar players I've ever met and is the reason I love rock and roll. Okay. This guy would wear muckaluck boots like David Lee Roth and all the bandanas in the 80s and shit. And he had beautiful, hair that ended up falling out. And it's a bad joke.
Shout out to the hair.
Now he's a raging Republican in Idaho. I'm not kidding you. And
God, what happened?
Dude, they always, anyways. So what happens is,
do tell,
is my my grandmother, her and I bond over cooking, but always in the background is this Van Halen, and I'm waking up to Van Halen and Van Halen. I had other like Nuge and Dire Straits and all this stuff, but Van Halen was really in my main craw during the summer, and it must have been like 82 or 83. Okay, so my mom then gets a job up north in Seattle. We move in with my grandmother, and now we're staying there. Okay, and I have no even dreams that this would be a possibility, but the whole time my uncle and my aunt and everybody, they've seen Van Halen. They've went to Van Halen concerts, and I'm all about, wanting to go. And when you're a kid, you're like, I want to go, but they're never going to take you. I remember I wanted to see Ted Nugent really bad a year before that. I was a kid. I wanted to see Ted Nugent really bad. But I didn't get to go, and I cried about that, and blah, 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 blah. I don't know how it happened, but all of a sudden, I'm going to Van Halen Diver Down. That fucking one right behind you.
Figure A. Let the record show.
Let the record show.
let the record show.
Yeah,
That's a cool name. Let the record show.
All right, no more voting. The voting's off. No, I'm just kidding.
That's a cool name. I mean, let the record. If you're in the comments, write down let the record show.
Exactly. So my uncle comes over with all his friends. It's a hot summer night, and I remember it smells like the 80s. Early 80s. It had to be 82, 83.
What's the 80s smell like?
Oh, I don't know. It just smelled like the 80s. I can smell it now.
I was born in the 80s. Maybe you smell me.
I don't know. It just smelled like the 80s. And so what happens is we hop in the Monte Carlo. Okay, big long stretch, cream colored Monte Carlo.
Rad car, by the way.
Yeah, that my the weird Doberman that we'd got from a different family that had too many drugs given to it. That was skitsy. Dug through the door, and it was a fucked up door. I'll never forget this Monte
Tweaker
Carlo.
Doberman.
Yeah, so we had this fucked up door in the side of this Monte Carlo. We drive up, and then it was the Seattle Center Coliseum. Okay. And I remember being a little kid, and we're walking up to the Seattle Center Coliseum, and I'm not with my uncle. I'm just with my grandmother and my mother. I believe my aunt might have been there too. And my uncle, he's off partying because he's younger. He's probably early 20s, and he is off and running. So I remember walking through like where the science center is and all that, and I just remember people screaming, "Woo! Woo!"
Just hooting and hollering
hooting
at the
and
world.
hollering, woohoo girls, right? Just man, fucking Halen.
Fangirling.
Just people screaming, and they don't do that anymore. And smoke and weed.
No, they get their phone out. They'll be like,
right, exactly. And they're doing all that. And in a nutshell, we're walking through. I'm just taking this all in. We get in line, we stand in line, and I'm basically the top of my head is at everybody's butt, and I'm with my grandma, and my grandma had to be in her 60s at that point.
and she's fucking jamming out.
Oh,
and she's
fuck,
just Van
dude. She's
Halen
got
out.
my hand, and she's rolling in. And
Shout out to Grandma.
Right?
How cool.
So we roll in, and where the stage was is if my seats, I look down, the stage is to my left. So I'm up. If you're standing on the stage, I'm up to your right. If you're David Lee Roth, right?
And he was looking right at you.
He was the whole time.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we get in our seats, and I've never been in this big of a place. You know, it's all fucking. I went to see Barry Manilow, which was an amazing fucking concert, but it was a whole different situation. So this was like my second concert, and so I'm sitting down, and I remember distinctively the people smoking, blowing the pot in my face, and I was a cultured child. I knew what it was, but you know, that's how Van Halen worked. Well, all of a sudden the lights dim, and on comes After the Fire. And they have a song that they did a cover of from Falco. You know, don't turn around, uh-oh, shog. The Comey Saw's in town.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. and they did there was two bands that did that version, and After the Fire is one of the bands that did that version. I may be singing the wrong song, but I really think it is. Somebody check me up on that. They fucking go into their second song and they get booed horribly. People are throwing shit at them. People are telling them to get the fuck off the stage. And I remember standing there looking at them going, you poor guys. And now I realize it's because people wanted to see the mighty fucking Van Halen.
The opener never stood a chance.
Yeah, not a chance. This is the year before 1984 came out. You know, before the 1984 record. This is Diver Down. This is in their prime, right after Fair Warning. Okay? So then I watched the show, and I remember all of a sudden my uncle comes up with his entourage, and they're in full, like, he looks like David Lee Roth. He's got eyeliner on. He's more of a Vince Neil before Vince Neil came out. The 80s was decadent.
Come out like how?
Well, like,
how did Vince Neil come out? Like,
well,
what, they come out?
No,
or
no.
like come out.
No, Vince Neil with his eyeliner and his
Some
and his
people
really
would argue
right,
that.
right, his really blonde white, hair. And here comes my uncle with his friends, and they decide. My grandma decides that it would be good if I went with my uncle for the beginning of Van Halen. So I go down, and on the way down, my uncle sees some chicks. And we stand next to the entry to where you go onto the floor. Everything's general admission back then, I think. I mean, I think we just got in seats, right? There wasn't even a floor. It was all general admission. So we walked down, and I remember standing there as my uncle was talking to these, okay, I'm going to be a little bit misogynistic, but I am only a man. The most scantily clad 80s women with the fishnets and the white and the beautiful leggings and all this stuff. And I remember being in like the 3rd, 4th grade and going, wow, and listening to this conversation. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Out comes the cocaine in the middle of this. They're passing it around. I'm watching all this. It's okay. It's just a 3rd grader, 4th grader.
Just a 3rd grader.
4th grader.
He's already contact high from the marijuana.
Just don't pass it to him.
Or maybe do. I don't know.
Right, right. So they do all that, and then they're talking, and I figure out that these girls worked at a place called, and the only reason I know this is because my uncle talked about it at that time. I have a really good memory. Night Moves. It's a place in Tacoma in the old days, in the 80s, that I ended up asking my mom what it was later, and it's a strip club. It's a strip club. So my uncle is the man. You know, he's there railing it up. In 82 or 83.
Strippers.
With strippers.
Cocaine.
Cocaine on the floor of the Coliseum waiting for Van Halen to show up. Okay?
That's the 80s.
Right, right. And here comes, now I don't know what song, but this is the thong. This is the thong. My brain is still on the girl.
Seriously, Eric. Seriously.
Time check. How much time do I have? We're going for a 25 today, folks. Okay.
You have 14 minutes.
14 minutes.
Actually, you're 14 minutes into it.
14 minutes in. Okay,
Yeah.
so what we do is I can't remember the thong that they started with, the first song they played, but I really do. In my memory, this is the song they opened up with, and I'm not sure. It could be a different one, but I'm sure that this is what it was. So all of a sudden, after we talked to these beautiful girls, and this one girl gave me a kiss on the cheek and left a print with her lipstick because she saw me blushing. Her name was Heidi. Ooh,
Not like
Heidi.
not like cinnamon or
No, her name
Oh.
was Heidi, and she had leopard like spandex on with a belt. You
You
know,
talking about Vince Neil here, or
Heidi,
or
man.
Heidi. Okay.
She was part of my bank for many years. Okay, it's like
I'm gonna go home and have some alone time.
okay, all right. Heidi's got me all under the collar now. She's probably dead by now. I'm so old. But anyways,
Cocainal,
oh,
deviated septum, and all.
yeah. She's probably like, "Come here, honey." Anyways,
You should be careful.
oh god, deviated septum and all.
Shout out to robots.
Right. So my uncle grabs me by the hand and he pulls me up and he's pulling me closer and closer and closer to the crowd where I will realize I'm going to the stage. I'm going closer to the stage. Well, we're standing there and then all of a sudden the fucking lights go out. Okay. And when the lights go out, he picks me up and he throws me on his shoulders. Okay. And all I know is I hear and the fucking lights are spinning the fucking round, all the strobe lights, and you hear the guy, you know, going, "Motherfuckers, are you fucking ready?"
Just fucking mass hype.
You know, mass hype, and it's just going, and my uncle's looking up at me like, "Yes, that's fucking it," and they're jumping,
And you're 6 feet off the ground.
I'm 6 feet off the ground, and all I remember is my uncle was jumping so much that his head was driving into my stomach, and it was physically hurting me. I couldn't take it. I just wanted him to say stop, but it was so noisy I couldn't, and he never stopped, by the way. So the foundation to this story is I'm going the whole time. Yeah, the whole time. Meanwhile, here comes Eddie running from one side, and it's after the mighty fucking Van Halen. Here comes Eddie this side, and then here comes Michael Anthony the other side, and Alex is playing, and then boom, the lights shine up, and they're just making noise. And then the lights shine up on Dave, and he's standing up over the top of the drums in the background. And all you hear is they go into fucking Unchained. And he's like, how the fuck are you, Seattle? And the lights shine on, the whole fucking crowd, the band kicks in, and he does the full spread leg out kick. Whoa, knocks it over. I'm getting so excited. He
Heidi and Van Halen.
Yeah,
and
he fucking spreads legs over the drums. He must have been on like a spring that shot him over the drums from the back to the crowd. Falls, I'm not kidding, it had to be 15 feet, dude. It was so high up. And he just lands perfectly and stands there as the spotlights hit him. And it's David Lee fucking Roth in assless pants, shaking his ass. And like they say, every girl wanted to do him and every guy wanted to be him. You know what I mean? Like he says himself, I think that's one of his quotes. And at that point, I was completely blown the fuck away. I couldn't believe the clamoring to get to the front and the giving back to fuel that clamoring and that pushing and that movement, all in the instruments, all in the performance, all in the energy. I don't even want to listen back to it because it probably sonically sucked. They were probably super loaded and just having fun. But it was, or they sounded incredible. Either one. It blew me the fuck away. And I watched only one song with my uncle until I started almost crying because he was jumping up and down, up and down, up and down, and he wouldn't stop. So then he gets pissed because now he's got to take me back up because I'm not going to sit with him, right? Well, he has this not this lackey, but this friend of his that would always do whatever he says and hung out with him. So he gives me to him. His name's Doug.
Okay, Doug.
I remember my grandma used to get mad because Doug would eat all the spaghetti. You know, he'd have a fucking plate of spaghetti, and he'd walk by my grandpa not my grandma, my grandpa, he'd walk by my grandpa and my grandpa would go, get a fucking job, you fucking hippie, you know. And
Sounds like a Doug.
And he did. Sounds like a
Sounds
Doug,
like any
right?
Doug I've
And he'd
ever
just be-
seen.
So Doug takes me up.
I can be your Doug.
I can be your Doug. So Doug takes me up to my grandma. And my grandma sits down with me with my mom. I think my aunt was there too. I mean, you know,
I can't get over the fact that your grandma's there.
I can't-
All
fuck.
60 some odd years.
dude, we went to Kiss too. That's a different story.
Well, that's the way it's impressive. But like,
Yeah.
grandma's like,
Grandma.
sounds like the coolest grandma.
You know,
ever,
yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah, and my grandma used to go, oh, my baby, she don't want me around. She said she's tired of watching me fall down. She wants a good life, yeah, she wants the best. But I like that bottle better than the rest. Yeah, she'd sing that to me.
You freestyling right now?
Oh, no, that was some old Van Halen.
I know,
right
but
there.
you're singing to us right
Right,
now.
right.
Like,
And we used to, and she used to sing a Big Bad Billy, Sweet William now. Mary Life done changed him somehow. That's a cool song because it was big in the 20s and the 30s, and then they put it out actually on that Diver Down record. Anyways, and it's got an incredible clarinet solo from Eddie's dad. So if anybody wants to check that out, check that out. It's really cool. Anyways, so I go up there and I sit down and I fucking watch the entire Van Halen set. I'm completely blown away. Absolutely blown away. And from that moment forward, we go home and we got to stop at Denny's. I remember. No, we didn't. We stopped at Sambo's.
That's different than Denny's.
Yeah, it was Sambo's. Remember Sambo's?
I don't recall a Sambo's.
I believe it's a story that has some racial connotation about.
I remember.
Yeah, it's
I
something
remember
about that.
IHOPs and Denny's and Sherry's. and
Right.
things of that nature.
Nothing was politically correct back then, but it was called Sambo's, and you'd get these masks. I remember, and I got this mask, and I flipped my mask around and drew Van Halen sign on the side that was kind of papery. And I put that on and I wore that. And then I went home, fell asleep, and I woke up to the first time ever when you think you've lost your hearing forever. Exactly. and
tinnitus.
And just like, and I ran in and was like, what's going on with my ears? And I remember all that, blah, 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 blah. We talked about that. But then I got on my skate. I had gotten a t-shirt too. I got on my skate. And I cruised to my buddy Justin Wilson's house. And
Shout out to Justin.
yeah, and they weren't at Justin's house. So then I cruised to like, I think I cruised to like Jason Olsen's house, and they weren't at Jason Olsen's house. So then I cruised over to fucking, back to Jason Bergman's house. Lots of Jasons, right? That's in the old days when you had to ride your bike around. And I was so pissed because I just wanted everybody to see my Van Halen shirt and talk about Van Halen. Well, finally, they were all hanging out in this tree throwing tennis balls at cars. I don't know why I'm remembering this. So they stopped throwing tennis balls at cars to look at my Van Halen shirt. And long story short, I remember telling them in that moment, I'm going to be in a band. In fact, I'm starting a band. Do you want to start a band with me? And my friend Jason Bergman said, yeah. And he was an artist. He's like, I'm going to draw a logo. I know what we're going to be called. And I went, what? And he goes, Turbo. And I looked at him and I go, fucking Turbo. He goes, Turbo. And I go, what do you play? And he goes, keyboards. He was a Duran Duran fan.
Turbo. And
Turbo.
I play keys for Turbo.
Oh, fuck. Eric Scott talks a lot. Random and Reckless Entertainment. Brainstar Media.
I'd like to
Use
point out
your
real quick.
fucking brain. Be a brainstar.
I'd like to point out real quick, my first concert was Alabama.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I can't even sing one song. Oh, is that Giddy Up? No, that's Oak Ridge
No,
Boys.
oh God, what is the song they had? Country as it gets.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't even think of anything right now.
Well, that's a different
They're
story.
just huge, though.
Yeah,
They're huge.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
they were huge.
Fucking Alabama was the
that was
Grammy-winning motherfuckers.
Yeah,
You're
and
right.
they slayed it as
Yep.
far as in the country music world.
Yep.
And I'm telling you what, I remember being like, holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yep.
You know, it was like, anyways, that's what I had to tell you that. But,
Alabama, man. Alabama. What age?
God, I had to have been 6,
6 or 7.
Fucking cool.
Yeah, it was my first show, so it's
There's
already
another story.
It's just the bang, the holy shit out here, and
So huge.
And I was like, wow, this is really crazy, and I didn't even. I'm like, who's this fucking band playing? And I was like, the lights and the sound, and of course you wake up the next day, it's like,
Yeah, exactly. So
I still have that honestly in my ear.
So my point to this is that that's kind of where it all started. I wanted to be a rock star before, but that's the start to my whole fucking thing. So I was in a band before I even knew how to do anything. So that's how it started. I didn't get into this shit for music. I got into this shit for Heidi, motherfuckers. Okay?
Cokehead, Tripster,
Cokehead, and fucking Heidi, okay? So call me up. I've been working for years. Oh, wait, hold on.
Hey Heidi,
Never mind.
If you're
This is my girlfriend. Turn this thing off. Okay, okay, we're running out of time. All right, we need a name, everybody.
Yeah,
we need a
comments.
name, okay?
Eric Scott talks a lot.
Eric Scott talks a lot. Random and Reckless Entertainment. Brainstar Media. Be Brainstar. Use your brain, okay?
Goodbye.
And give us a goddamn name for this thing. All right, later.
Peace.